So whether you're preparing to pop the question, you're already engaged, or you're just curious about what it takes to be a great husband, stick around. I'm going to help you navigate the journey from single to married life. And trust me, these tips are going to save you a lot of headache and also even a few arguments along the way. Let's get it. Hey, what's up YouTube? Boswell back with the husband code. Today, we're going to focus on the biggest transition in a man's life, going from single to marriage. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, let's talk about mindset. Becoming a husband isn't just about, changing your status on social media. It's not just about, taking cute photos. It's not about, having nicknames, husband, wifey. All that's cute. But it's definitely about a mind state shift. So at this point, you go from solo to a dynamic duo. The Batman and Robin. Nah, you know what? LeBron and Savannah. Gucci and Keisha. Barack, Michelle. Who else we got? Steph, Aisha. And the list go on and on. You know who I like too? Chip and Joanna Gaines. Right? Power couple. You're a power couple now. And so you have to look at like this a mind state shift. You're working together. So, yeah. Staying with the mind state shift, marriage isn't always convenient. Sometimes at 3 a.m., somebody's up because they couldn't sleep. They maybe need to talk. Plans don't always go according to plan. Things go sideways. And so it's not always about, being there for things that's convenient. It's about showing up to show you committed. Marriage also isn't just about fun date nights and vacations. It's about stepping up when, stressful times are there. Maybe there's last minute work crises. Or, you running errands for your partner when they're feeling overwhelmed. It's about stepping up even though it's not on your schedule. Sometimes marriage means dealing with things that were never expected. Someone is going to get sick. They're going to be under the weather. They're going to have the flu, whatever it may be. There are going to be things in your households that's going to need repair. And you guys are going to have to work as a team to repair it. Whatever it is, again, work as a team. There are going to be things that's tough and unexpected. Staying with the theme of team, we have to shift from I to we. And so it's no longer just, my plans, my goals, my money. It's ours. And so it comes a time where you have to shift and learn to work together and collaborate and compromise. So with compromising, let's say for instance, right, you may like watching football on Sunday, but your partner, she may be like, I like brunch and walking in the park. So you may have to figure out how to make it work with compromise. So it could be a situation where it's like, all right, cool. We'll go walk in the park, and instead of just eating brunch, we'll go to this bar next to the park. We'll eat brunch there, and now I get to watch the game. So we got all three. And that's what you call, number one, leadership, stepping up and coming with ideas, where it's not just like, well, how do I figure it out? But also that's compromise, because both of you guys get what you want. That's a win-win. Also, it's at a point now where you have to embrace vulnerability. Growing up, and this is a great video I want to make later, but growing up, we're not taught emotional intelligence as men. We're not taught emotional vocabulary as men. A lot of time when we're young, especially when you were playing sports, it was like, oh, you can't show emotion, right? Oh, you got to hold that in no matter what you're feeling. You got to take it. And so therefore, being that we suppress our emotions, we couldn't articulate how we were feeling. We couldn't articulate the words of what we were going through. And so therefore, we didn't understand vulnerability and couldn't express it the right way. But being in a marriage, yeah, you definitely have to express that with your partner. Because number one, it's going to build trust and it's going to build a deeper connection. So when it comes to vulnerability, it's actually strengthening it. It's not always about being tough. It's definitely about, being open and being real with your partner. So the last point I want to make on mindset is, marriage isn't static. You guys are going to grow. You're going to grow. She's going to grow. And y'all guys are going to grow together. But be open to change. Be open to changing yourself and be open to changing your partner. And just know that um, challenges are going to come up, but be open to those challenges. Be open to have the opportunity to grow closer, as you guys change and grow, and just keep that mindset of that and understanding of it. So next, I want to really dive into communication. And I'm sure at this point, through all my videos, that's been a running theme. You've heard it over and over a million times. Communication is key, and that's because it's true. For me, communication is not always just about talking. It's about listening, finding understanding, and also sometimes reading between the lines. Now, when it comes to communication, I want to start diving a little bit more deeper. So, with things like active listening, right? Listening is a big part of communication. So, it could be a situation like this when it comes to active listening. Let's say your partner had a tough day at work and they want to tell you about it. A lot of times not about just speaking back and forth about it. A lot of times it's about listening. And people not always looking for you to give them an answer or a response. They really be looking for empathy, for you just to hear them out and kind of, feel what they're talking about. So being present, putting your phone down, looking into their eye. And it's okay to respond like, damn, that's crazy you had a tough day. Or, hey, I'm sorry that, you had a day like that. What can I do to help? And again, not really giving a solution, but just being present for them for that. And again, you can respond, but again, it's not always about responding with a solution for their situation. So, yeah. So, in the point of speaking clearly or speaking and giving a response, it doesn't always have to be sugar coated, but also you don't got to always serve it to them raw and mean. You can be kind with it. Here's an example, right? Let's say that your partner just brought a shirt and they want to know, hey, how this shirt look on me. For me, if I don't like something, it ain't gotta be like, that's trash, take it off, throw it away. Nah, it ain't hitting. It could be a situation where you like, man, that shirt don't really, fit your skin color. It don't really accentuate, the best features on you. Or, man, the cut, nah, I don't really like that cut. It ain't always gotta be, you know, yeah, it's trash, take it off. Nah, it's just ugly. You don't have to use so many negative words to get your point across that you don't like it. And so with that, it's like express yourself, but it doesn't always have to be in a super negative way that's unkind or that puts somebody down. So communication and speaking is very powerful. But what's more powerful than that is nonverbal communication. Things like hugging, hand holding, smiling. Those nonverbal communication points, right? Another thing is doing things without being asked. So, for instance, if they like the bathroom being cleaned a certain way, they've been working all day. They've been trying to get to it. Typically, they might clean it on a Wednesday. It's Thursday going into Friday. Just been busy. They had a chance to take care of it. You go in there and knock it out. There's nothing more powerful to a woman than doing something without being asked. Listen. You can talk all you want, but doing something without being asked, something small like that, it could be washing dishes. Dishes been sitting in the sink for an extra day or whatever, and they hate dishes start to smell. You go in there and knock it out. There's nothing more to say I love you than a clean bathroom or I love you because you're doing things without me asking you to do it. There's none that's more powerful than that non-verbal communication. Nothing more powerful. Another point is, the timing of communication. When it's a serious topic and you are tired, you stressed, you distracted, that's probably not the best time to bring it up. And try to get a serious conversation going. You know, Again, timing is everything. So you want to pick a situation or a time where you both are relaxed, you both are open to receiving the information from each other. And sometimes, listen, easier said than done. And I'm not saying you have to put it off every time, keep pushing it off. No, that's just gonna build up pressure within yourself. And then once it finally do get a chance to have that conversation, things just gonna explode, and it probably be a bad communication turnout. But sometimes you gotta have the conversation. But if you got your choice in the matter, find a great time for it, because timing is everything. That way, you both are open to receive the information and the message of the communication, what it needs to be spoken about. And the last point of communication I want to touch on is transparency, or practicing transparency. Now, for men, I know there are guardrails on it, because it's really taboo to talk about our feelings and emotions. And it's really hard to be transparent with our partner sometimes when it comes to things like our feelings, things that we need from our partner, finances. However, these things that I've noticed in my marriage has brought me closer to my wife, because the more you can connect and be closer and be transparent with each other, the closer you become one, because there's no overlap, there's no gray area in it. You just, it's like, what's that, I forgot what it's called, but it's like the two rings, and then you got the circle in the middle. But if the closer you can take those two circles and make one circle, that transparency becomes you know, a stronger bond. It becomes a stronger bond without having that gray area in the middle. So again, I know it's tough for a lot of men to be transparent, but that's the only way you're gonna build that foundation to get what you need in the relationship, in the marriage, to go forward in your future. You have to be transparent. You have to practice transparency. And again, that's the only way that you guys are going to become one and get what both of you need in the relationship. So transparency, practicing transparency is definitely a part of communication. It's something that's very powerful. All right, so look, let's move to some things that's more practical. We've been really talking about things that's like theory, right? Mind state. Mindset. We've been talking about communication. Now let's look at more practical things. Can you be a handyman? Fix small projects around the house. Can you cook? Can you put together IKEA furniture? The practical things that you can do around the house. You have to be hands on to become a great husband in this life. You have to know how to do a few things. So that's the only way that's gonna work. So talking about hands on basic skills, we talking about basic DUI skills. Um, Listen, man, you gotta know how to stop a running toilet, change or at least check oil in somebody's car, change an outlet. Again, you don't have to be an electrician, but that's basic stuff, right? You gotta know how to change a light bulb. Like, you'll be surprised. Hang some curtains. Put together some IKEA furniture. There's nothing sexier to a woman than a man who know how to use a toolbox. Again, you don't have to be no expert, but these are basic things. Even how to check the breaker in a house, or if something go out, to figure out what's going on. How to change the filter in a refrigerator. I'm saying it sounds like a lot of little things, but trust me, these are little things that pop up, especially like if you got your own house, or if you're living with a female. You have to know how to do these things. You have to know how to be a DUI basic skill man. And again, it's more things on this list, but I just gave you some examples. And don't come with no excuse like, I don't know how to do it. My uncle didn't teach me how to do it. My dad didn't teach me how to do it. I ain't had no man around to teach me how to do it. Bro, listen, you got YouTube University. Listen, I remember when I was like, probably like, how was I? 19? I had my first car at 19. And my water pump went out. Now, I didn't know how to change it. I ain't had no tools. I went on YouTube. I figured out what parts I need to change it. Called AutoZone. They had the part. At that point, I still didn't have the tools, right? I called my uncle. I found a way. I thugged it out. Got up to my uncle's house. Thank God. Was able to use his tools, get up under there, change the water pump. Had my cousin there helping me. I got it done. But I learned from YouTube. So there's no excuse to not know how to do something. We have some basic skills as DUI. IKEA furniture, right? They give you the direction. Even if you feel like, and listen, you'll be surprised. Females like putting together stuff too. They don't like putting together stuff, but they like putting together stuff. And so if you there with them, helping them put together, doing the heavy lifting, oh, they with it, right? They with it. because they like seeing the finished product as well. But I say all that to say, there's no excuse for you not to have the basic skills like changing a tire, again, figuring out why the toilet's running constantly or leaking, changing the faucet, changing the light bulb. Like, you have to have the basics as a man, also better yet as a husband. So yeah. All right, next is cooking skills. Come on, man. You can't always be busting out the instant noodles, instant ramen noodles, flipping grilled cheese. Because the thing about it is, when you single and you may be looking to impress a young lady that you may be taking serious, or even thinking about, man, one day I do want a wife, you gotta come with some cooking skills. Again, you ain't gotta be chefing it up, being Gordon Ramsay up in that 5-star chef, but you gotta know how to break out some. You gotta be able to have your go-to, right? I know a lot of females when I was coming up before I was married, they love pasta Alfredo, shrimp Alfredo, lasagna, grilled chicken. Like, it was some couple meals that I had my go-to, to be able to at least come with some basic meals, not only for them but for myself. Because again, as a man, you got to be able to take care of yourself, at least mentally, physically, and spiritually. So all that come into play with eating, or at least the start of it. And so you just cannot be out here all the time eating instant noodles and grilled cheese, especially if you want to be a husband. And that's not to say that you always gonna be cooking or anything like that, but it hit different when your partner's working all day. They ain't had time to even eat their lunch, or come home, they gotta cook. You already busting out a meal. It just hit different. You know what I mean? And again, you ain't got a 5-star chef, nothing. But everybody got their favorite meals. Like me, I love cooking at what I call at-home Chipotle. I do the cilantro lime rice. I learned the recipe for the adobo chicken, beans, and you can buy some guac from the store, some chips. And right there, you ain't got to go to Chipotle, right? Cook it at home. It'll probably take 30 minutes. And you already got a good home cooked meal. You can learn how to bake some chicken. You got some aunties. You got a mama probably. Maybe a old lady at work. They gonna show you how to put a meal together for a young lady or even for yourself. So again, cut the excuses. As a man, as a single man, as a husband, somebody engaged, you have to have some basic cooking skills. And again, you ain't got to chef it up, but keep it simple. It'll go a long way for yourself and your partner who you want to take it a long way with. Next, let's talk about being financially savvy. You have to know the basics of budgeting, saving, and investing. Again, you don't have to be this Wall Street guru, nothing like that. But when you marry and you're trying to build a foundation for you and your partner, somebody has to be on top of the money. And why not you as the man? Like, when it comes to budgeting, you'd be surprised. I used to work in finance, right, for 5 years. I used to do personal loans. And the number one thing I found out is it's not about how much money you have, it's about how much money you know how to control. So I always got this saying, like, if I have $1 in my left pocket, or if I know how to control $1 in my left pocket, I can control $1,000 in my right pocket. If I can control $1,000 in my left pocket, then I can control 10,000 in my right pocket. So it doesn't matter. Like, if you can control your dollars, then you can control your life. And it's a big correlation with, you'll learn with people who their lifestyle and how they look and stuff like that. Now, some people be capping, and they're using a lot of credit cards and stuff like that. But a real man gonna know how to control his money. He gonna know how to budget his money to make sure his life is a certain way. And also, he gonna know how to save his money. And I can't wait to do a couple more videos talking about how to be financially savvy, because saving your money is gonna help you in emergencies. It's gonna help you when you want to go on vacation. It's gonna help you for helping other people that you may want to help that's in need one day. And lastly, investing. We ain't all trying to work for the rest of our life. We got to learn how to put some money away, not only for a rainy day, but we got to know how to put that nest egg away so we ain't working forever down the line. And when it comes to even knowing the basics like stocks and bonds and stuff like that, that we can tap into. Certain interest rates, high yield interest rates with certain bank accounts. So these are the basic things that you need to know. Even 401ks. I know a lot of companies don't do pensions anymore, But 401ks, mostly every company do that. And just understanding how that work and how to put money into that, those are the basics that you need as a single man who's trying to build a relationship into marriage, or if you're already a married man and if you want to build your foundation of your family and your household, you have to know these basic things, just how to be financially savvy. Next on things that's practical is emotional intelligence. Now, I touched on earlier about us as men, a lot of us growing up, how we weren't taught emotional intelligence. We weren't taught about the emotional vocabulary on how to articulate our feelings, right? And so there's no excuse for you not to go through therapy, because every man has had some trauma in their life. Every man has had to suppress emotion throughout their lifetime. And so, what therapy does to help you with your emotional intelligence, it's going to open you up. It's going to allow you to clean out that closet. It's going to allow you to, dig up them bodies that's been buried emotionally, to clean that stuff out of your system, right? That way you can start to heal emotionally and heal spiritually, to be able to connect with your partner even better, and also to grow internally. So I definitely recommend therapy for all men, because that's only not going to help yourself, but it's also going to help your connection with your partner and your significant other, because the more whole you are, the more you can give and the more that you can provide for your family. But when you're kind of in your spirit, or your spirit, when you're not full or you're not whole, you can't give what you need to your partner, right? And so the more you learn emotional intelligence, and the more you can start to speak or articulate to your emotions and what they mean, when it comes to anger and different emotions, you'll learn to communicate better with your partner, and also you'll have better understanding on how you're feeling, um, as you grow with your partner and communicate that emotional intelligence. So the last point I want to make on practical things is one of the things that I learned early to try to master, and that's time management. And so when it comes to time management, there's nothing that people respect more than you being a person about your business and being on time and being punctual for things that's important and things that matters. So life is already stressful. There's already a lot of different moving parts to life. And you trying to balance it all as a man. So you have to learn time management when it comes to, your job and work, when it comes to your own personal time, when it comes to time for your kids, time for your family, and time for your significant other, and whatever other time that may be needed to be allocated, right? If you have to know how to balance that, because if not, you're gonna be stressed the hell out, right? You're gonna be stressed so much because you're gonna feel like you're being pulled in every direction and pulled very thin, where it's just taken from you and taken from you. But if you're a man that know how to structure time, you're always gonna be solid in knowing how to allocate your time precisely, and just being on point with allocating your time, right? So that's the one thing, and just practice on it. So like one thing that I do in my phone, and there's apps that you can use too, but I just got it on a little notepad. Like let's say if I gotta wake up at 3:30 a.m. and I need to be working at 4:30, whatever it is, I'm dialing out my whole day. If I'm waking up at 3 a.m., 3:30 wake up, 4 o'clock start work. Let's say I get off, maybe I gotta eat lunch in that time. I don't know, 12 o'clock, eat lunch. I'm off work at 4. So 4 to 4, I only did 12 hours, right? All right, cool. I'm 30 minutes from the crib. I drive to the crib, get dressed. I could probably make it to the gym at like 5. All right, 5 o'clock, gym, right? I get from the gym, it's 6:15. I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna eat, whatever case may be. I'm gonna kind of, wind down. All right, shoot, it's 6:30. All right, cool. Now 6:30, maybe I got something to do before my significant other get home at 7:38, right? So I'm gonna take care of that. It could be going over my budget for the week. It could be, planning my goals for the week. It could be shooting a YouTube video, right? Whatever, doing your side hustle, right? You allocating time for all that. You're looking at your whole day. And so now I've done that from like 6:30 to like 7:30. Let's say your significant other get home, your partner, your wife, or your spouse is getting home. It's 8 o'clock. They get home, they eat, whatever the case, they wind down from 8 to 9. It's 9 o'clock, right? So what time did you spend with them? Maybe from 9 to 10, or 9 to 9:30, whatever. But you giving them some time. But you planned your whole day, right? And so 10 o'clock, it's time to go to bed. Obviously you showered already and stuff, but at that point you plan your whole day from your work day. From, let's say you work Monday to Friday, you've already planned your whole day. That's a man who's on time. That's time management, right? So now on the weekends, well, also really quick, that time that you had when you came from the gym, you chilling and eating, kind of winding down, maybe use that to plan your week. Besides going over your budget or paying some bills, something in that time frame, you have to execute. You have to be on point, being punctual, being on time for things, and being on time for yourself. And so again, that just make you a great leader, as a man, as a husband. Just being on point with your time, man. Time management. Control your time, control your money, and you on point as a man, you on your way. All right, look, let's talk about relationship realities. These are the things that they're not going to show you in the movies when you're watching rom-coms and reality shows. It's not always about fireworks every day, every week, every month. It is about understanding that sometimes it can be a basic ass week, and then on Sunday you still got to do the laundry. It's gonna be simple like that. It ain't all gonna be glory and like I said, fireworks and all that. So sometimes it's gonna be simple and basic. And so with that, let's talk about managing expectations. So with managing expectations, no one's perfect. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. And so therefore, people are gonna have things that they're gonna have quirks you don't like. They're gonna have bad habits. They might snore. It might leave socks, in the bathroom on the floor that you hate. They may leave the toilet seat up. There are gonna be things about being in a relationship, being in a marriage, that you're just not gonna agree with. However, you have to pick and choose your battles on, what you're willing to deal with and not deal with. And me growing up through life, I heard all the time women got their list. Well, men, y'all need y'all list too. And again, if it's 10 things on that list, that doesn't mean that the person that you're dealing with is going to check off each 10 items on that list. They're not going to be perfect. But I would say if you can get, let's say it's 10 things on your list, if you can get 7, perfect. Because then maybe they can work on 2 to push them to a 9, and they maybe never get that 10th thing. But that's something you can work with right there. But if they only come with 2, and they only willing to work towards another 2 and they're at a 4, nah, that's, manage your expectations. Like, that person is probably never going to get to a 10, or it's going to be a super overhaul of hard work to get them there. And for me, they got to come with something. They got to come with some things I can already work with in the package. Again, they don't have to be perfect, but I need them to come with some things to the table that's going to help, benefit and bring value to my life as we're trying to build a relationship and a life together through marriage. Next, let's talk about handling conflict. And it was 2 quotes, but the first one I love is, it's not always about being right. It's about getting the right answer. And I love that when it comes to handling conflict. And the second quote that I've heard is, 2 things can be right at once. So compromise. And that's really what it is when handling conflict, is being respectful, obviously, and hearing each other out. And that goes back to those communication tools we talked about, or communication skills, about communicating, right? So that's what you want to look at when you handling conflict, is being respectful, hearing each other out, but also compromise. And I think that will help you along the journey when y'all trying to get past an issue or a problem that you may be having. So pivoting from conflict, one thing that'll help negate that or lessen conflict is making time for each other. You have to continue dating. You have to continue building your relationship. You have to continue bonding. And the way you do that is making time for each other. All right. So one thing in my relationship that I've took initiative to do and to be more intentional about having dates with my wife is typically there's 4 weeks in a month, right? And some months have 5, but on the regular, on average, it's like 4 weeks in a month. So like 1 week, it may be like, look, we can do our own thing. We free to do whatever. You can hang with your crew. I can hang with my crew. We can chill at the crib and outside. There's no expectation this weekend. We off, right? Another week may be my wife plans a date for us. And hey, that's free for me to not just sit back and chill, and that's her time to like show up for me. Another week, the third week might be me showing up for her, me planning the date, to be intentional for her. That way she can take some time off and be like, look, I want to be catered to, right? And then the last week could be us doing something together, us planning something together. It could be date night at the crib. It ain't always got to be about going out, and it could just be about us being intentional together at the house. Bonding, connecting, just vibing, but it's intentional. That's the whole thing. Making time for each other. And maybe I'll do another video for the guys about how to do different dates and stuff that we've done to keep that connection, keep that spark, and keep that bond. Yes, making time for each other is very important. And we talked about, the 4 weeks or whatever. But also what is very important is, maintaining your own individuality. Making time for yourself. It's important that you, as a man, first and foremost, that you keep yourself tight and right for your significant other and yourself, just to stay healthy mentally, financially and spiritually. You have to take time for yourself. Women love a man that can take care of themselves, right? They love a man that can keep his hair cut, keep his nails clean or whatever. I ain't saying done, but keep them clean. His skin's on point. He's keeping up on his workouts or whatever. Again, you ain't gotta be walking around with a 6-pack, but you gotta look healthy. You gotta be strong. And so all that encompasses, maintaining your individuality, about taking care of yourself in a relationship and doing things that's for you, to keep a healthy mind state. And it could be like, hey, go and hang out with the boys or whatever. But you gotta have some time for yourself to step away and just give yourself time to breathe and to just maintain a healthy vibe in a relationship through your own individuality. The last point I want to make on these relationship realities is be ready for the unexpected. Life is very unpredictable. Somebody's going to lose their job potentially. Someone may get really ill. It could be a family dynamic shift. Whatever it is, just make sure that whatever y'all go through, stay a team, stay solid, stay a rock, and you'll make it through. But only if you keep things in perspective. You just make sure that you understand what's real life and not what you see on TV all the time. Because that's what's going to be meaningful in the long point of the journey. It's not always, looking at outside sources to make you happy, but using the internal sources of you two on what you guys agree with, on what your relationship is, and what's real in y'all relationship. That's what's going to make things that's unexpected. That's going to help y'all make them through it. So, keep what's real in perspective and unexpect the unexpected. Before we end this video, I want to let y'all know, look, husbands, men, you have to continuously grow. And yes, I'm giving y'all game, but I had to learn myself as well, and I'm still learning. But the things that I did was invest in myself, meaning I read different books. Like behind me, there's a book called The Way of the Superior Man. And again, I'm not promoting this book, but you can read it if you like. But it definitely helped me with my relationship with my wife. And again, I'm not using everything from the book, but there are some great tips and great tools that you can use. Right, and there's other books I've read it as well, talking about something financial. The theory of there's another book, Think and Grow Rich, and they're just 2 books, and we talked about a lot of different topics about continuing to grow. But that's just 2 examples of 2 books that I've read that I've invested in myself to educate myself to how to become a better man and a better husband. That way I can grow myself in the future of my relationship. So understand that your relationship, your marriage is always about growing. If you're not growing together, you might well just get rid of the relationship. If you constantly gonna argue, you're not trying to come up with solutions, you might as well just kill it. You might as well. I ain't telling nobody to be divorced, but I'm just telling you, if you ain't growing, it ain't working. So you gotta either try to figure it out with some of the stuff we talked about in this video. But if you feel like y'all just at a crossroad and y'all not able to straighten up the road so y'all can keep going forward in your path, man, do yourself a favor, and just cancel it, because that's the worst thing, is to be with somebody and y'all not willing to grow together for a happily marriage. Also, with that being said, don't underestimate the power of gratitude. Be thankful in your relationship. Be humble. It's not only about saying thank you, but it's about doing things to show thanks. It's been a long day for your partner. Are they doing things to help you make your day easier? Are you doing things to make their day easier? Are you doing things to show them that you appreciate them, that you're thankful for them? That's the stuff that we talk about when it's about not underestimating the power of gratitude. So just be thankful. Do things to show that you're thankful for that person, but it needs to be reciprocated. Don't forget about physical affection. That's crucial. It's not only about saying I love you, but it's about showing how much I love you, right? So a kiss can go a long way. A hug can go a long way. Meeting somebody at the door when they about to walk in from work to show them affection, that goes a long way. Helping them with their bags out their car to get in the house because they heavy, they had a long day. It's not enough just to say, oh, hey, I love you, welcome home. No, what did you do before they got there to welcome them home, to show affection? Did you bring them some flowers? Did you, got a bath for them running? Did you fold some clothes for them? Affection, that goes a long way versus, oh, I love you today. They know you love them, but how can you show them that you love them without only telling them? The last thing I want to say on this is, remember to laugh together. Remember that life is already too stressful. Have fun, laugh together, and don't always take things too serious. Listen, life is very serious, and you do want a serious mindset and a mind state, but it doesn't always have to be serious every day with your significant other, your partner, your wife, husband, whatever. But take time out to laugh and just enjoy life. And if you feel like y'all aren't able to do that, maybe it's time to seek help if it's not working internally with y'all communication. There's therapy for marriage counseling and different things like that. Lead the way on that. Hopefully that both of y'all are willing to agree and go into that setting to maybe help y'all through y'all problems that y'all couldn't on your own. But try just basic stuff like humor to try to alleviate some of the pressure, some of the stress, and just try to not take things so serious all the time. And again, if that don't work, then try to get outside help. But with that being said, those are a couple different points when it comes to some advice I can give y'all, some things that's been working for me in my relationship. So look, there you have it. This is my ultimate guide to becoming a husband. And look, remember, it's not about being perfect, but it is about being prepared. It's about being present. And it is about being the best partner you can be in a relationship. Just remember, marriage is a journey, not a destination. So look, if you got value from this video, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it out to whoever you feel that can connect, or if I can bring value to them through this video. Also, drop a comment down below. Give me some feedback on maybe what you thought about the video, things I could add, maybe some things you didn't agree with. I'd love to get your feedback. But until next time, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.